Hi guys, welcome back to Resellers Room. So today we've got a special guest on the podcast. We have got Sam, who is actually one of our members. How long have you been a member with us now, Sam?
I've been a member for just over a year and a half now.
Nice, amazing, perfect. So do you want to just give us a bit of an introduction into like what you did before you started reselling, what made you want to start your reselling business, and just a bit of an introduction into the beginning of your journey, really?
Yeah, of course. So I started mainly because back in the day when I was like 14, 15, I discovered Stone Island because I loved going to the football and stuff like that. So I found Stone Island, fell in love with it, and I decided I want to start buying it. But as a kid, you don't really have too much dough in your back pocket.
Yeah,
So it was like maybe for a special occasion, Christmas, something like that, I'd get a jumper. But I decided to then start by trying to flip like CP Company and Stone Island t-shirts and so on Depop, and I made a little bit of money. But then I just kind of gave up on it because I wasn't making too much. I didn't really have too much guidance, didn't really know what I was doing. And then I kind of recalibrated a little bit, a couple years on, and decided I want to go back to my original dream, which is kind of to build a retail store similar to Harrods, Selfridges, that sort of thing,
nice.
but kind of have my own twist on it, which is where the personal shopping has come in, where I can source in the products for below retail to clients, save them money, save them time, save them the stress as well, which is the most important
100%.
thing. And yeah, from there I joined Resellers Room, started, got some good guidance on how to start, what the top personal shoppers were doing, and how to kind of replicate that into my own page, which definitely helped me a lot with sales. And then from there it was just kind of a process of getting the first sale, which took a long time, but once you get the first sale, it's a lot easier because if you treat the client well, give them a good service, they've got no reason to not come back to you.
100%.
And then obviously they can go and recommend you to friends and family. But I'd say definitely one of the main things that helped me at the beginning was just sending everything out to friends and family and saying, please post this.
Yeah. They're the best people to go to at the beginning because they're the ones who have really got trust in you. They want to support you. They want to see you succeed. Like I always preach that to everybody who joins the network now. Like reach out to all your family and friends first, and then start targeting like the wider world and like strangers who don't know who your business are. Because then you can start with the people who trust you the most. So yeah, completely agree with that. In terms of that first sale that you got, what would you say to people? So for anyone who's starting now, what would you say is the things that helped you get it across the line? Because we quite often get a lot of people saying, obviously, it's really difficult trying to get that first sale, and it can make them feel like they doubt the process a bit when it takes a little bit of a while. So what was for you the main thing that helped you close it?
The main thing was it was a friend, someone who I knew, and I had a low ticket offer for them. It was a Nike miler, and what I did to actually get them in was essentially offer it at cost price. I made about £2 profit off the first item that I sold, but then that same client came back to me the next week to buy something else, which I also kept my cost and my profit down on, just so they'd actually want to shop with me so I can give them two good experiences, and after that, why would they leave? So that was kind of my thought process behind it, and it did take a while, but it definitely helped that it was someone that I already knew, someone that I already had a good relationship with. So they'd rather come to me, get the item, than go online and shop with someone where there's no face behind it. They don't know who it is, and it's literally just a picture on a screen.
100%. I think as well, like what you said there with the first sale you got with them where you only got the £2 profit, but then it just snowballs after that. Like we've had people within Resellers Room where they've sold an item to someone, like an activewear item, only made like £5 profit, £2 profit, like you said yourself. And then years later, they'll come back and say, actually, now they've managed to sell them a private jet or Louis Vuitton bundle worth about 10 grand. So like the £2 profit can really scale in the future to be a big spending client. They could become one of your VIPs in the future. So what did you find then to be the most challenging part when you first started?
So I'd say the most challenging part is definitely reaching out to clients and actually acquiring them in the first place. And doing that also came with other challenges, like creating the content and trying to plan to be able to get the people in through the door, because no one knows who you are. no one really cares who you are.
Yeah, it's difficult.
And they've got no reason to watch your videos or follow you or anything like that unless they actually know you. So back to the thing about reaching out to friends and family, getting them to repost everything as much as possible. And then after they've kind of reposted it, their friends start to come in, but you have to give them something to go towards, if that makes sense. So if they follow you, they're going to want to see more content, and you need to stand out a little bit, because at the minute what I have seen is so many people will post product pictures, and I think at the beginning it's definitely quantity over quality. So get as many reps in as possible, whether it's product pics, in-face videos, things like that, like where you're getting your face in. It's definitely worth just trying as much as possible and failing as fast as you can, because the more you fail, the more you learn. 100%. You can adjust lighting, you can try, like for example with shoes, I like to rotate the shoe and show off different angles of it, show different details. So it's good to test out which angles, which details to show, what works the best, and from there just keep a note of it. I mean, personally I've been quite bad with it when I first started, but recently I've started to be more conscious of it, and every time I upload a video I'll see how it performs, write down what went well, write down what I could have improved, and then use that to formulate what I can do for another video.
Definitely.
And from there slowly scale. So even if I'm getting like 1,000-2,000 views on a video, I can then write down what went well, what went wrong, change one thing, make another video, maybe that gets 1.5, 2.5, and then change another thing. Then that will continue to scale the views until before you know it, you could end up getting 10,000, 100,000, a million views.
100%.
We're still chasing that one.
100% though. Yeah, exactly what you said there though. It's all about learning and actually dedicating time to evaluate the content you put out there. Like the best thing to do is set yourself like a couple of hours a week where that's like your weekly review almost, where you evaluate your social content you put out that week. Like you said, write down what went well, what performed the best, anything that did perform the best, just recreate it. Like for us ourselves, the most successful content that we've seen is where we've taken a strategy that did well and just replicated it non-stop. Like you've probably seen Morley Trends, the phone call videos, like they're the ones that for us just perform so well, so we just will push them out and out and out and out. And they're the ones that always go viral because that for us is what works with our audience. So yeah, I completely agree with what you said there. And I liked as well what you picked up on about at the beginning, it is better to push out quantity and just test loads of different things, because you never know what works for your audience might not work for someone else's, what works for our audience what might not work for yours. So definitely it's all about just testing and seeing what performs best for your business.
Yeah, 100%, because you can always delete the posts after if they go wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not
and
up to par.
Exactly. And it's just at the beginning you've not got such a solid brand image to stick with as well, whereas the further down the line you get, you will have more of a brand image you want to stick to, I guess. Like you'll see what's performed well, you can just go down that niche. But yeah, completely agree with that. So how did you tackle at the beginning any issues you had when, say for example, someone came to you with a product they wanted to purchase and you weren't able to source it straight away? How did you get around that issue?
So we'd find out what the customer liked about that specific product, and then see if we could find similarities. So let's say they wanted a black LV jumper. Then we'd ask, is it the design? Is it the style? Is it the colour? Is it the fit? Kind of what specifications do you like about this specific item? And then we'd be like, okay, cool. We can't find the exact one you're after, but we've got this one with a similar print. We've got this one that's the same colour and it's loud or it's minimal, just like the one that they've asked for. And then from there, we'd offer the upsell. But as we've grown the network, we've worked with much more exclusive suppliers, much bigger people, that we can now offer 99% of the products on the market. There are still some that aren't available to anyone unless they've held it for 10 years, in which case they're not going to sell it for a good price anyway. So it's a case of finding what is liked about the specific item, so that you can replicate what they're after, essentially.
Yeah, definitely. It's always just about converting the sale. Like even if, like you said, you do have to find them an alternative or similar styles, or even like pre-owned alternatives. Like there'll be sometimes people who they'll come to you wanting a new product, but actually when you turn around and say, well, we've got it, it's been worn once, but it's about like half the price, they'll be like, yeah, cool, I'll take that. So yeah, that's a great way to go around it. One thing as well with those like sourcing inquiries, how did you deal with it whenever you had customers who maybe hadn't purchased from you before, didn't know the brand, didn't trust you as much, and they would be questioning like the authenticity and, well, how do I know the product is 100% authentic? How would you get around those issues as well at the beginning?
So to begin with, and I still do that now sometimes, is if they didn't trust me as much, I'd offer PayPal goods and services. So if you don't know what that is, PayPal holds the money until the customer receives the item and then you get paid out. So that way it's risk-free for both parties.
Yeah.
They do charge a 4% fee, but in the long run, for customer lifetime value, it's not that big. And when they do question the authenticity, there's kind of a little bit of a script that we follow, which is we have an extensive network throughout Europe, America, Asia, etc. And we work directly with the brands or with verified suppliers of the brands, as a lot of the products we do buy are from wholesale or retail directly. So that kind of tackled it a little bit, but if they still didn't trust me, I'd get extra pictures sent over and be like, if you're comfortable with authenticating it yourself, these are the pictures. We can always go through a third party if you would prefer, because there's Facebook groups like Authentic Detective, which give you an authenticity guarantee, and they're experts in the field and they know better than essentially anyone else in the game. So I'd always direct them towards people like that where they can get it authenticated correctly, because even places like eBay, they offer authenticity guarantee, but it's not always authentic.
Yeah.
And it's the same with a lot of other marketplaces, unfortunately. I've spoken about it a bit too much on my page, but I do like to make sure that people steer clear.
Yeah, no, 100%.
But I'd always offer an alternative and offer a solution to the problem, because that's essentially what the business is for. It's to solve problems.
Exactly, 100%.
In a nutshell.
That's one of the main things as well that I think a lot of people struggle with at the beginning when they start their personal shopping, reselling business, is trying to build up that trust. And it's one of the questions we get asked the most by people who join is, well, how am I going to tell people that it's authentic? How do I make people believe me? But it is just about building up that relationship with them, nurturing the client, just making them realise it's a person behind the brand as well, I think helps massively.
Yeah, 100%.
Definitely. On that point as well, for yourself, I know recently you've started showing your own like personal face in your brand now, like put more personal branding onto your page as well. What sort of a difference have you seen on your page in terms of like trust and engagement and everything like that since putting your personal brand into the reselling business as well?
So putting the face to the page definitely helps a lot. I've seen a very big increase in views, engagement, everything else. Even when I post very good quality reels of products, they still only get about half the views as actually getting my face in. And that's down to a couple of things. First of all, when you speak, it's a lot more engaging. Our brains are literally wired to be engaged to hearing voices and
100%.
listening. So that definitely helps with retention rates. Whereas if you've got a 5-10 second video of a product, unless it's top tier, like absolutely aesthetic, people love it and they're sharing it to everyone, it's not going to get anywhere near the engagement or the views. And of course you can get to that stage, but it will take a lot longer than just speaking to a camera. And one of the reasons is probably because people don't like to do it as much. But it does also help a lot with the trust, as people know who they're dealing with. They can see that you are actually a human. You're not a bot. You're not someone pretending to be someone else. They see you as you are. 100%. And from there, it kind of helps them trust you a bit more because they actually know you're there. And especially if you're sending voice notes or videos or even FaceTiming clients, which I found does help a lot.
That's a really good idea, actually.
They know that it's not just someone standing behind the camera. They know that I'm dealing with them directly, and I deal with all my clients directly. So they actually know that who they're dealing with dealing with is an authentic and a real person, essentially.
100%. The voice notes thing as well is such a good idea.
Yeah.
Like when we've started doing that on our own page, you see a massive uplift in trust and actually engagement from clients as well. As soon as they get a voice note back rather than a message, they can tell that it's not automated. It's not just a bot that's sending it back, like you said. Like they know that they're actually building that personalised relationship with someone who's actually going to listen to their requests and help them. So for you currently, what is your sort of split between B2B versus B2C, and what is that like now compared to when you first started as well?
So when I first started, I was probably at about 90% B2B, purely just because I invested in myself. I put money into the business so I could actually buy the stock, and then since I'm buying the stock, people are going to buy it off me. But I've started to grow my B2C platform a little bit more, and now I would say it's probably about 50-50, because through working with people B2B to begin with, I've built those relationships so they come back to me. So I actually do deal quite a lot in wholesale.
Yeah.
Just because it means that I can get better prices for my end clients, and I'm able to get better products for them as well, because I've done a lot of business with LV and Dior directly. And if you don't know about those brands, for their limited drops, they give you allocations. So if you've got over a certain spend, then you can get certain products. But if you've not shopped with them before, you're not going to get any exclusives. And the majority of the time, they sell out before they even release. So dealing B2B definitely helped me grow my relationships with those brands themselves. So now I get early access to every single drop that they get, and I get offered the product rather than actually going in store and essentially begging for it, which is what an everyday person has to do with those brands, which is also how they keep their prices so high. So it's fair enough.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think starting off B2B is a very good way to build relationships, because then you get to meet other suppliers, you get to network, and people start to know you a bit more. And then from there, you also get experience. With B2B, I feel like there's a bit more room for error. But obviously your service does need to be top notch. You need to be on time. Otherwise people get irritated, and it's their business you're affecting. But you don't need to worry too much about nurturing the client. Like, you don't need to take them out for drinks and so on. But as long as you offer a good service I feel like you can get the practice, get the repetitions in, and start to learn a bit more about service. And then you can move more B2C, where then you will start giving clients free products. You will start taking them out for drinks. You will start meeting them directly, and you'll have the distribution side nailed, so they'll have no issues with that, and you'll have a much better supply chain to be able to deal with their demands a lot more.
100%. And with that B2B as well, how did you find it with building those relationships with the suppliers? Like, what would be your top tips almost for someone to be able to build a really strong relationship with one of their suppliers, or even someone that they distribute to?
To build a relationship with a supplier, I feel like what people start to forget is that they're a business as well.
Yeah.
So for starters, putting your money where your mouth is, that's the best way. Just full stop. Suppliers will love you if you say, I want this, and they go, okay, this is the price, and you say, sound, I'll take it. And then you take it. Being a man or woman of your word is also very important, as I've personally had it multiple times where people have said they'll take an item, 2 weeks later, not paid me, not answering the messages. And I've taken that product off the market, and I've turned away multiple people because I've said, look, product's on hold. And then I've ended up losing money essentially on that. But those are the top two things: just being a person of your word and putting your money where your mouth is. That's how you get with the top people. But obviously not everyone has thousands of pounds to invest. So what I would also recommend is just reaching out to them, sending them a message. Hey, I hope you're doing well. Like, I've seen you've got these products. Is it okay if I post them? Yeah, sure. And then no one's going to say no to that, really. Like, everyone wants their products.
You just bring them extra sales at the end of the day, aren't you?
Exactly. So if you can promise them extra sales, come through with it, and just genuinely being a respectful person gets you a long way. I've had people get rude to me over £5. And then from then on, I've raised their prices. So they have to pay extra because no one wants to be sworn at, everything like that. Like, so I'd say B2B, respect and being a person of your word and actually spending with them are the 3 main ways to get in with a supplier.
Perfect. Amazing. Yeah, fully agree with that. So far then, in your personal shopping reselling journey, what for you has been your biggest month in terms of like revenue and profit so far?
Revenue wise and profit actually would be the Christmas that just passed. Christmas is always a busy month for everyone.
Yeah.
Personal shoppers especially. It's Christmas presents for the missus, the mum, the boyfriend, anyone who likes design or likes fragrances, likes anything like that. 100%. You will get sales. Without even trying, you'll get sales. As long as you're positioned somewhat correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Without getting into too many numbers, I surpassed the targets that I set for myself.
Lovely.
And the main thing with that really was, it's quite famous actually, Grant Cardone's 10x rule.
Oh yeah, nice.
You say you want 10x more than,
you
10x everything you want, and then even if you don't reach it, chances are you're going to hit a higher target.
Yeah.
Because I set my target at 6-figure month for revenue. I didn't hit the 6-figure month, but I wouldn't have been anywhere close to that number if I'd gone, right, I want to hit £15,000 revenue. I wouldn't have, if I'd done that, I probably would have hit it, but
yeah, just comfortable.
I wouldn't have surpassed it. I wouldn't really be trying, but because I set that 6-figure mark, I got close, but I wouldn't have got anywhere near that number because every day I was grafting. I was going, right, I need to reach out to these people. I need to offer these. I need to be posting. I need to be doing this. I need to be doing that. And as we got through, I had people buying off me repeatedly during that month. The same people buying repeatedly off me that month. So much so that it was actually quite hard to keep up with the volume. But that definitely helps to better the strategies and the systems for the future.
Amazing. Yeah, I think that's such a good strategy to have as well, because like you said, if you set your goal for what you think you can achieve, you're just going to get comfortable, and as soon as you hit it, you just almost ease back a bit, like, okay, I've hit my goal now, I can just chill for the rest of the month. But actually, yeah, if you aim high, then like you said, it makes you proper graft for it and actually like work hard and message all those people, etc., to try and hit that goal more. Yeah, amazing. Well done as well for having such a great month. Great Christmas.
Thank you.
Sort of following on from that as well, what has been the biggest order that you've had from a client like to date as well?
I actually have to think about that.
Can be just a rough order value. It doesn't have to be the exact amount. It can just be the amount of figures or like what items were bought as well.
So I've had a few big ones.
Nice.
All in one order, I would say, I believe it was about £6,500.
Wow.
Which was just Goyard.
Yeah.
And Goyard, great seller.
100%.
If you've got clientele for it, buy it.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those brands that you can't get. Just full stop. You queue up outside the store for 2 hours for an opportunity to get the product. So it's one of those spaces where people will come to a personal shopper or a reseller to get that product just because it's not accessible anywhere else. So there's always great margins on that. And it's also quite a cool product to get. You see a complete
100%.
different side of life, like genuinely. But it's quite cool.
Yeah.
But I've had a couple other similar ones, which is just, to be honest, most of them have been silly products. I had someone buy, I think, 4 or 5 pairs of LV jeans.
Wow.
4 or 5 pairs of LV jeans. Just because it was they wanted different designs. And
wow.
I can't remember the exact total, but it was close.
Yeah.
So it's
wow.
Yeah, there's been some fun orders to fulfill.
Definitely. That's one of the like funnest parts, I think, as well, about personal shopping, is seeing what other people want to buy and put in their wardrobe. Like, I'm so nosy with things like that. I love seeing what other people want to get. And we've had quite a few clients before where they'll purchase like 4 or 5 pairs of shoes from us, and then they'll say, oh yeah, it's just to go on my wardrobe, just go on the stands. Like, they won't even wear them, which is crazy. Yeah, it's wild seeing like the sorts of things that people pick up. But yeah, interesting. So what is your strategy for keeping customers retained and making them come back to you? Like, how do you keep a customer loyal?
The main way is service, because realistically, there's normally going to be someone cheaper. and price is not something you want to compete on because it's a race to the bottom.
Yeah.
If you're trying to go cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, in the long run, you're probably going to end up losing money rather than actually making it. Or if you are making it, it's not going to be worthwhile.
Yeah.
So the main way to keep a client is definitely the service. For me personally, with the first order a client puts in, I normally do the product at cost price or close to.
Yeah.
I always beat the next offer just so that they'll actually be like, okay, cool. I've seen this person online. They look trustworthy. They're cheaper than this place I was going to go to. And then they come in. And then from there, I slowly raise the prices, but I still keep it so it's a fair price. So I'm not going to increase my prices by 20% and start charging people 20 quid off an LV jumper. Just because that's personally not what I want to do. But I still keep it way below retail. But then with the second order, I might give them a retention discount. So, okay, cool, you've bought one item off me before. You can get this one. Normally I'll charge X amount, but I'll give you an extra discount off it for coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Then the third order, I normally throw in a free gift.
Nice.
So depending on the order value is dependent on the gift that they get. It's normally with my VIP clients who are spending the multiple £1,000 orders. I may throw in a free LV beanie. I may throw in a free fragrance, depending on what they like, really. I like to tailor make the service to them, which is the essence of personal shopping, really.
Yeah.
And then from there on out, you've normally got them hooked and building that rapport with them rather than just being like, okay, do you want this? Yes. Okay, here's my details. Send me the money.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask them about themselves, genuinely build that one-to-one connection. And more often than not, the people can spot that if you're faking it. But if you actually are genuinely interested in the person, and that's the one thing I would aim to do, like genuinely be interested in the people that you're selling to, then it's a lot easier to ask them the questions. It's a lot easier to get to know them. And from there on out, you can start to pull it up into conversation. Even just chat to them when you're not even selling them anything. Just reach out. Hey, how you doing? Like, how's the missus? How's the boyfriend? How's the kids? How's this guy? And how's that going?
How's holiday? All stuff like that,
Oh, congratulations. Just seeing that you've done this. Like, those sorts of things go a long way. And I'm not saying it in a case of actually start doing that and then sell them. Just genuinely be interested in their lives.
Yeah.
Build up the rapport. Check up on them. Check up on them when the item arrives with them. Oh, everything arrived okay? Everything good with the product? Be yes or no, this was wrong. And then you go and fix that issue.
Mm-hmm.
And then check in with them a week, 2 weeks later. Oh, hey, have you used the product? Have you tried it out? Oh, yeah, I have. Oh, how are you finding it? Is it everything that you thought it would be? Is it this, is that? And then people react well to that because it shows that you're actually thinking about them in especially in a long-term relationship, which I feel like proves that you're not in it for a quick buck. So you're not going to try
100%.
Get a high profit margin, make loads of money, and then try do that again, and then try do that again. And then they'll just be like, okay, cool, well, this person's coming to see me, this person's doing this person's doing that, which definitely drives people away.
100%. You want people to think that you're their friend, really, because like we said at the beginning, people are always going to buy from their friends more because they trust them. You've got that like personalised relationship, so you've almost got to make your customers feel like you're their friend and like, actually build a friendship with them. Like, there's a lot of our clients now who we ourselves are friends with just because you've built that relationship with them. So it's 100% the best thing to do. You guys must meet some interesting people with your sales. Yeah, we do. We do meet a lot of interesting people. I feel like you do in this industry. Yeah. I feel like you. Yeah. There's a very weird crowd that comes into designer. It's either like very much at the top or just different types of people. Yeah. See all sorts of styles, everything like that. It's quite interesting when you actually look into 100%. It's like what I said before about the shoes. Like, we see people as well who will come in, they'll want to spend like 10, 20 grand on a pair of like Chrome Hearts jeans, which I find wild as well. Like, I feel like at that point it's artwork. I know. Well, that's the thing. I wouldn't ever wear them out. I'd be like, God, imagine you spill a drink on them and you've just spent 10, 20 grand on them. It's crazy. Like, to some people, that's pocket change, though. So true. They don't really care too much about all of that. So true. And a lot of people, they do buy it just for display on their wardrobes, which, I mean, props to them for getting to that point, because that is an amazing goal to have. But yeah, it is. You do meet a lot of interesting people, and like I said before, it's good seeing their wardrobes and what they sort of pick. It is interesting to see.
And especially when you actually get to know them as well. Like, there's lots of different character types. Like, the world's a lot bigger than the place you're in. You might think you know everything and everyone sort of thing, but when you actually start to reach out a bit more, actually speak to your clients and so on, you'll see people all walks of life, all backgrounds from all over the world, and it's quite cool actually.
Yeah,
diversity.
Definitely. What for you is like the best part about doing this as a job?
Quite a few things, to be fair. For starters, it's kind of always been my goal to do something like this. Always loved designer. But then also getting to meet lots of new people. I'm quite a people's person, so actually asking people about themselves, learning about them is always a fun thing to do.
Yeah, nice.
And just chatting to people. But also, I feel like delivering a good service, when you save someone money, go and deliver them the product, you get it done really quick, and I go, oh wow, I wasn't expecting that. Kind of puts a bit of a smile on your face, makes you feel good.
Yeah.
And on top of that, also traveling and living a bit of a life of luxury, like that's always the fun part.
Definitely.
Getting to see the world, going Paris, being invited to exclusive events. Like, there was a Dior event in Lisbon that I got invited to, just because I got family out there. So I got very friendly with the store there, and then got to go to a cocktail party, which was interesting.
It's amazing, like, what the connections you make, and just like you said, speaking to someone in a store, that can get you so much further in your business as well, just because you build that rapport with the brand. That even just store assistants, like, just when you go into those stores like LV, Dior, etc., just being friendly and chatting to them can, like you say, get you invited to one of their cocktail parties.
Yeah, and you'd actually be surprised how much being nice actually means to them.
Yeah,
because in those stores they meet rude people, very rude people. So you're spending 5-10 grand. It's natural you'll be slightly entitled, but some people are way over the top with it. Like, actually going in there, speaking to the sales assistants, asking them about themselves. Obviously they're there to sell you on things, and they're also doing similar things as well, like asking you about yourself, genuinely being interested in you as well, and trying to be your friend, but kind of giving the same energy back, asking them about their lives, asking them about themselves, and seeing what interests them definitely helps you get some things in the future, but also it puts a smile on their face.
Yeah.
Which is, it sounds cliche, but it's the most important thing.
Yeah, definitely. Agree. I think you should aim to do that every day. Make someone smile every day.
100%. That's a good target to set.
Definitely. And sort of similar to that as well, but what has been your proudest achievement since you started your business as well? Probably a fair few come to mind, but what's like the top one, would you say?
Well, I'd say, to be honest, it depends really. Monetarily, I'd say Christmas.
Nice.
Secondly to that, I'd say just keeping going.
Yeah,
there's
that's
been
a good one.
So, like, since I've started, I've seen hundreds of people join and quit just because they've not been making what they were expecting, and then they go, oh, it's whatever. Maybe they invest in a bit of stock and it doesn't sell, and they go, oh, whatever, give up. But the main thing is, despite everything that's happened, all the challenges, all the failures, all the hardships, continuing to keep going and scaling it to a point where it's actually a full-time job and could be going somewhere is incredible. 100%. It's a great feeling.
100%. Honestly, you should feel so proud about where you've got the business, because, I mean, it's like you were saying just then, like, the two biggest things that people neglect at the beginning is discipline and perseverance. Like, you've just got to keep pushing through even those first few weeks where you might not get a sale, or you might not sell that item that you've just purchased. You've just got to keep disciplined, follow like the routine that you've set out for yourself in terms of the content, the stock listings, the outreach, etc. And just like you said, just keep persevering through the challenges, and you'll get to where you want to be.
100%.
So what for you was the pivotal moment within your journey where you realised that actually this was becoming like a full-time role? Because so when you started, were you in a job, or was this full-time? And what was the pivotal moment when you were like, actually, this is now going to become my full-time job?
So when I first started, yes, I was working on the side. Well, on the side, the personal shopping was the side.
Yeah.
So I was working full time and doing bits where I could. So after work, days off, I'd be planning work, getting things done. And I wasn't really as committed, didn't really know too much what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd say the pivotal moment is when I just started getting consistent money off it. It took a
Yeah.
while to get to a point where I could go, okay, cool, I can do this. But I'd say once you reach that first £1,000 profit is when things really start to change.
Yeah.
Because even though the B2B, B2C split was very much in the B2B favour and the margins were quite low, I was like, okay, I'm doing this consistently. What's gone well? What can I do to get better? And then from there, it was a case of rinsing and repeating the things that were going well, reaching out to people, and it kind of gave me a bit of drive to go, right, I've hit that £1,000, time to put the afterburners on. And then came the 10k revenue month where I was like, oh shit, this is something. I'm onto something now. And then just keeping it going from there and just making sure that the relationships were there, because without the repeat clients, there's no money, essentially.
100%.
You can't do it full time without repeat clients, because otherwise you're putting out so much energy, so much manpower, so many hours into finding the clients and getting the client through the door. And depending on your strategy, you may not actually make that much off your first clients. But then when you've got the repeat clients, you've got people buying off you every month. And if you've got 10 clients spending £1,000 with you every month, even on a 10% margin, you're making £1,000 a month, 10k revenue.
100%.
And then from there, they may increase their spends. They may put people onto you, and you can continue to scale. And I feel like that was definitely the most pivotal moment for me.
Amazing. How many hours then do you have to work currently to be able to keep this going as a full-time job, or is it very ad hoc, or what does your day-to-day look like in terms of like hours with job life balance?
So it depends. This year, I've decided to go all in. So work-life balance is non-existent. Like after Christmas, I thought January was like, okay, cool, I'll kick my feet up for a couple of days, relax, just wait a little bit and then actually get back onto it. Because Christmas, I was doing 18-hour days every single day.
Wow.
I'd be driving for 6 hours just delivering items to clients. So it was very hard. But then from there, my stress tolerance went through the roof. So things didn't really affect me as much anymore. Because for a month straight, if you're doing that much graft, it first of all takes a bit of a toll, but second of all builds it back up, so your resilience goes up. And this month I've kind of gone more strategic, seen what went well during Christmas and the other months before, why there was such a big boost and so on, and kind of implemented strategies to improve them. But day-to-day life, it kind of varies on the day. Some days when I'm a lot more busy, I could be working 18-hour days. Some days when I'm a bit more quiet, I might do 4 to 6 hours. But in terms of working hourly to maintain, I don't really think about that. I look to scale.
Yeah, that's the best way to think of it.
I don't want to be stuck at this point, because at the minute I'm going to take a much reduced wage out of the company just so I can reinvest all my profits and keep the company growing. Perfect. So if I stick to that level, in 5 years' time, I'm going to be cursing myself. I'm going, mate, what are you doing? Like, why have you done this? Why have you left your job to go do this business? You're not actually making any money off it. But then that does kind of put more power behind you, because you've got the time and you've got the effort to go into it. But I feel like day to day varies. I've got different things to do for different days. I've got content days like today where I'll focus strictly on content.
Yeah.
I've got days where maybe I don't have a set thing, but I've got different tasks I can do, like writing up stock lists, reaching out to potential clients. And I've got non-negotiables every single day, which I do every single day without fail, 7 days a week, 365, which is things like posting on my broadcasts, my B2B and my B2C, posting on social medias, reaching out to clients, obviously posting off the parcels, and also things personally like getting a workout in.
Yeah.
Obviously, some days you need to rest, but
yeah,
getting a workout in, learning something new,
mm-hmm.
even if it's just watching a podcast while you're doing a little bit of work, that
definitely.
works. But that's all my day-to-day things. And then I add extra bits on top. So things like stock lists, things like strategy, things like content planning, script writing, editing, those sorts of things I'll add in
Mm-hmm.
kind of day to day. And then obviously it's hard to plan because people want things yesterday.
Yeah.
So if they go, I need this, then I'll be like, okay, cool. And then I'll look at my time schedule and I'll be like, right, well, I'm meant to be editing this, but I need to go drive half an hour to drop this product off to the client. So rather than going, oh, well, I need to edit it, I'll just, let me do this quick. I'll go, right, client comes first. Money in always comes first. So then I'll go do that, get back, and then do what I can. Like, for example, yesterday I was meant to be doing things in the evening, but I had to go meet a client. I had to drive 40 minutes and ended up waiting for 2 hours because something went wrong with them. But that's not my information to share. So then rather than just kind of calling it a day, I went back, did what I needed to do. And then 2 hours later, they actually ended up getting back to me and saying, look, really sorry, this came up. And obviously when it's an emergency, you can't turn around and be like, oh, well, you left me waiting, because that's rude and that's never going to get people coming back to you. But most importantly, it is rude.
Yeah.
So rather than being like that and being salty about it, I went, absolutely fine, mate. Like, first of all, I checked that everything was all right with them, because if there's something wrong, like, I don't want to then go and try and sell them something.
Yeah.
But I first of all checked they were okay, and then moved into actually going and delivering the item. It was ended up getting back about 1:30 in the morning, just because I wanted to get that delivered to them. But now they will end up coming back to me, because they know that, first of all, I'm a human. I'm not just after money. I'm actually interested in them. And second of all, I will put in work for them. I'll work overtime for them and that sort of thing. But then I kind of worked around it a little bit and got some other things done in between, which is always beneficial. But those things you kind of learn as you go along.
Definitely. That's the biggest thing as well, is you've got to be a bit adaptable. I think it's so good as well that you say you've got like a bit of a schedule and a routine and something you stick to, as well as like non-negotiables to do every day. But like you said as well, it's customer first. If something comes up to you as a client, you've just got to put them at the front and push everything else to the side. And it's just all about prioritising at the end of the day, isn't it? That's the best way to be.
Oh, 100%.
So my next question for you is, what would be the advice you'd give someone who is watching this video now, who's thinking about getting into reselling, personal shopping, but they're a bit on the fence with it? What would be your advice and your pearls of wisdom after your 1.5 years that you've been doing it?
It would be, don't expect to get rich quick. You do need to put in blood, sweat and tears to actually make good money in it. Kind of see where you want to go with it. If you've got no target, you're just kind of walking about doing nothing aimlessly, and that's never good for anything. So those are the first two most important things. Then after that, I'd see what's around you. So your local area, do people like designer? Can you start off there? Do they like sportswear? If they like sportswear, you can go down the sportswear route, and you'll see that people have that market there ready for them that you can then go and exploit. Enter. That's a better word for it. You have that market there that you can enter, and then just see what people like. Like, if you don't know if you want to do it or not, just think about why you want to do it. Why would you want to do personal shopping? Why wouldn't you? And if it's whatever the reason is, whatever resonates with you the most, go with that. No one can really force you to do anything. No, I can't really tell you that you have to. Everyone's different, but it's kind of,
you've got to want to do it.
Oh, 100%.
You've got to have a reason why and a drive behind doing it. It's just about finding that reason as to what made you interested in it, what made you even consider it at first, and just cling on to that as like your bit of motivation and your drive to go forward with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. Okay, so the final question that I'm going to ask you, so this can be related to reselling, can be related to anything, is what is the best advice that you've received, just either from, it could be from a person, from a podcast, anything, the best piece of advice you think that you've heard?
There's a couple things. Relating to business would be find your why, find your purpose. Otherwise, you don't get up, you don't do the work that you need to do. You have a little hardship and you go, oh, well, I don't really want to do this anyway. Mm-hmm. And it's easy for you to tell yourself to quit. Second of all, healthy body, healthy mind. If you're not in shape, if you're not doing things to help clear your mind, personal shopping in particular can get very stressful. Dealing with people, and when things go wrong, there's money on the line, people get angry, and dealing with that, you do need to have somewhat of a clear head. So I'd always recommend doing exercise daily or every other day. Just because even going out for a walk clears your head. I went out for a walk before coming here just to make sure that I was somewhat on point. But it's those things are definitely the most important when starting business or actually starting anything in particular. Mm-hmm. But most definitely business related, collect data. Yeah. Data is the most important.
Definitely.
Collect client base, make sure you're tracking everything. See if someone buys something, see what they've bought, write that down. See if multiple people are buying it, especially if you're trying to, let's say, for example, drop ship an item. Yeah. If you go and invest 10 grand into LV stock, but your client base wants essentials, they're not going to buy it. Yeah. But if you post things out, test the waters, see what's going on, then you can see what people are into, you can see what people are interested in, and from there you can start to bulk buy. That was definitely my strategy at first, and it worked wonders for the majority of the time. Nice. Take risks. That is definitely the most important thing. Mm-hmm. But you do also have to be wary. Risks are risks for a reason. They can go wrong. I know personally, I've taken risks. Some of them have gone extremely well, and they'll make up massive amounts of sales, get me loads of clients. Some have also gone horribly wrong, where I've lost a lot of money, or certain things have happened where it's affected the business. So you do have to be wary of that, and you do have to be willing to take risks if you actually want to get anywhere big.
100%. That's the only way to grow, really, isn't it? Taking risks.
100%. If you're not ready to take a leap, then you're not going to get very far. Exactly. Although taking one step at a time is also extremely effective. Yeah. But it will take you a lot longer. But that's definitely the best way to start, is by taking one step at a time, focusing on each thing.
Build a foundation.
Indeed.
Learn to walk before you can run. That's what we always say.
Yeah.
So guys, I hope you enjoyed that video and found it useful, just to hear a bit of insight from one of our current members who has been with us for just about 1.5 years now. And thank you very much, Sam, for jumping on the video with us as well. If you guys have got any questions or anything like that, drop them in the comments, and make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, so you can see when we post any more videos and any more podcasts. So Amazing. Thank you guys.
Thank you very much.